It's November 30th, 2025, end of the month, and I'm getting ready to knock out my last little 0.6 miles that I owe for the month of November on some mileage on a goal of 35. And man, I gotta tell y'all, between running errands, doing what I gotta do, home improvement, self-care Sunday, I gotta tell y'all that I didn't really want to do this today. Which there's nothing wrong with, right? I feel like there's a lot of videos that I do, or a lot of videos that people do, and they're like, I didn't want to work out today, but I did it anyway. This ain't really one of those videos. You know, I get asked a lot of times, how do I start? How did I start? How should people start? And people ask me where they should buy and things like that. And I'm like, don't buy anything. Like, I believe in gamifying your goals. You know, you go to a store, you go to the checkout, and they're like, enter your phone number for rewards points. And they tell you that after X amount of rewards, you get free stuff, or you get this. Like, you get something for the more purchases you get. And so I kind of look at goals like that. I'm always trying to break down goals into smaller fragments, into something smaller and achievable, so I can see milestones better. And I remember that I probably did not buy new gym clothes until I saw my first 10 pounds get shed. Everything was just old shirts, cutting them up, whatever. I wasn't focused on looking good in the gym. I was focused on getting in the gym. So to me, gamifying goals is like figuring out how to reward myself for hitting certain goals, figuring out how to reward myself for certain milestones and things like that. With running my recent race, which was a 10K, PRing in that, I was like, all right, bro, you can buy new gear. Like, you can buy something cool. You could buy some new gym clothes or workout clothes or running clothes. I needed new gym shoes, so I went with the gym shoes over the running shoes, because y'all know I have enough running shoes at this point. So it wasn't really in need of that, but was able to get that, and then also got this really cool sleeveless top from Nike. Actually was on sale for $30. So to me, that's like, it gets you to a point of like almost a little bit of a dopamine hit, keep you going. And I don't project what it's gonna be. I just say like, hey, this is something new, let's go do this. So I just focus on creating small goals like that, rewarding myself, gamifying it, figuring out a way to track the goal in a way that I can actually track it. Mileage a month is a big goal for me. It's one of those goals that's like, it's easy, and then it's not easy because life be lifing, jobs be jobbing, careers be careering, right? So yeah, some months I get to 27, and then I'm just like, oh my God, like, I gotta do this. Other months I figure out that I'm just not, I have too much travel. I gotta go somewhere out of town. I can't pack running shoes. Walks don't count towards my mileage. They count for the overall end of the year. They do not count for the mileage of like running per month. So this walk right now doesn't even count. I'm just trying to get my legs warmed up, literally to run 64 meters. But y'all know I'm not gonna just run 64 meters. I'm gonna run definitely more than that, which is why I'm walking out somewhere, and then I'm just gonna run back home. But yeah, I like to gamify the goals, man. And that's not just with running. That's not just with fitness. That's with everything, right? If I have a goal of a new job, I buy myself something new, right? That supports the continuation of what it is that I'm doing. So I wouldn't buy like a PS5 if I've run a half marathon, because that's not in the same category. You know what I mean? Like, I already have a PS5, but I wouldn't buy that. You know, I don't talk about my individual contributions, or I don't really give a lot of transparency towards that, but I'll tell you like how sales taught me this gamifying things, right? You know, back in the day when everybody was in office, you would walk in, and at first I was always intimidated by the scoreboard or the leaderboard that they have on sales floors, right? You walk on, it's like a whiteboard, everybody's name, and there's different kinds of measurements. You know, it could vary really in what's being measured. But you walk in and everybody sees their scoreboard up there. Everybody's leaderboard is up there. Everybody's name is on the leaderboard. And it is what it is. And so once I got introduced to the 4 disciplines of execution, for me, I started being like, okay, like I can figure out what the lead and lag measures are. If I need to hit this many, like, you know, closes, whatever, I need to make this many dials. And if I need to make this many dials in a day, I need to make this many dials an hour. And I need to make this many dials an hour. I need to create an interesting way for me and my fake ass ADHD mind to track what it is that I'm doing. So I would make these like really cool ways to track every dial. It wasn't just a tally, it was something else, boom, boom, boom. And so it goes micro at that level all the way up. And then you realize, like, and what I realized and what my brain was like, if it's gonna take 80 calls in a day to make a close, I wanna get to 40. I wanna be able to do less and win more. All right, cool. Now you're focusing on calling the right people. Now you're focusing on having the conversation where people, yeah, they're gonna say no, but they're only gonna say no once, right? You ask again, you flip it around, ask them again. And that really helped me, man. Like, that really, really helped me. I got the reward. You know what I mean? I got the reward. You gotta find the exact things that you can do, in my opinion, that allow you to appreciate being rewarded. Many of us have that personality type, to be honest with you. Many of us grow up in pretty predominantly rewarding environments. And so my whole thing, to tie it back to gamifying your goals, I just think that sometimes if you start off with everything you need, with all of the stuff, all the glitz and glam, you know, and someone might argue, oh, that's a sign that maybe you're not motivated. And I would cite the idea that, like, I feel like if you're asking for advice on how to start, maybe you're not motivated, right? There's factors. I'm kind of just rebutting just to rebut, but I'm saying that to say that I find that in my experience, I had factors that were blocking me and factors that were going to, not even factors. I had a history of starting going to the gym, getting pretty consistent, and as soon as the tipping point for me to really get consistent and see results, I would fall off. And I wanted to make sure that I did not fall off. And so I gamified, and I really like sat down and was like, what is my goal? I'm gonna go to the gym. What is my goal? I started getting back into running, and I was like, what is my goal? Believe it or not, my goal when I started back running, I have a follower, shout out to her, Daisha. She used to post, and I was like, yo, she out here running a 7:30 in a mile, a 7:30, and I was like, that's kind of crazy. So I was like, okay, I'm a little competitive. So in my mind, I was like, I just needed a relative number of like, hey, where should I be at? And I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna run a mile and I'm gonna try to get down to the 7:30. That's crazy. We're only 0.84 miles away from where we started. So as y'all can imagine, this is a whole nother conversation. But there's really no sidewalk. So I actually never, ever, I never walk this way. This is never part of my route, ever. Just because this is a highway that actually gets a whole lot of truck traffic. Look at this. Good old Florida. This is the beginning of the sidewalk, this red pole. And y'all can see that red pole down there. That's the end of the sidewalk. Thanks. Gee, thanks. It's an avocado. Thanks.
So